In the year 2420, the galaxy was silent, heavy, and tense. Far above Earth, in a dark warship shaped like a giant blade, Commander Reeker of the Zilani Empire stared at the blue planet with cold yellow eyes. He had seen many alien species fight, but humans were different. They were small compared to the Zilani warriors, emotional, loud, and chaotic. And yet, they kept winning battles they were supposed to lose. Reeker stood with his arms behind his back, watching the hologram screen in confusion. Human soldiers were fighting in the ruins of what was once New London. Buildings were broken, fires burning, smoke rising like black curtains. And there, in the middle of all this destruction, he saw something that made no sense. A human soldier pressed a small metal device on his chest. It was tiny, no bigger than a matchbox. It didn't glow, didn't shoot, didn't have any dangerous energy reading. Still, the moment the soldier pressed it, a faint blue flash appeared, and then the human moved like lightning. His strength tripled. His speed doubled. He fought like a creature possessed. Reeker growled softly. "What is this toy? How does it make them stronger?" Beside him, a young alien scientist named Lyran checked his scanner. His face slowly turned pale. "Commander, this is not a weapon," Lyran whispered. Reeker turned sharply. "Then what is it?" Lyran swallowed. "It looks like a memory burner." The entire command deck fell silent. Down on Earth, far from the alien warship, a young human officer named Arya Khan ran through the broken streets with her squad. Dust and ash covered her face. Her uniform was torn, but she kept moving because she knew stopping meant death. Explosions echoed behind her as alien drones rained plasma fire on the city. Arya held her own spark device tightly. The same small metal toy the aliens were confused about. She had used it too many times during this war. Every time she pressed it, she lost something. She could not remember her grandmother's face anymore. Her first day in school was gone too, and she sometimes struggled to recall her own birthday. But she kept using it. Because she had to. Humanity was losing. Earth's defenses were collapsing. And the spark was the only thing giving them a chance. Arya's squad reached a fallen building. She signaled them to take cover. Her heartbeat was loud, almost painful. She looked down at the small device on her chest. A simple button. A simple flash of blue. And another piece of her memory would disappear forever. She closed her eyes and whispered, "Just one more time." But before she pressed it, a voice came from a radio. "Arya, don't activate Spark again. We found something. Something huge." It was Captain Hayes, her commanding officer. His voice was shaking. Arya pressed her earpiece. "What did you find?" Hayes replied, "A Zilani scout ship crashed near Sector 9. The survivors, they said Spark is destroying us from inside. Arya, if we keep using it, humanity will forget everything. History, language, technology, everything." Arya felt her stomach twist. She looked at her squad, tired, wounded, shaking. They were alive only because of Spark. But at what cost? Up above Earth, Commander Reeker leaned closer to the hologram, trying to understand humans. He didn't fear their strength. He feared their will. Humans were willing to sacrifice anything, even their own memories, to win. No other species had ever done that. Lyran finally explained the truth. "Commander, when a human activates a device, their brain burns a memory. The lost memory is converted into raw physical energy. That energy powers their body for a short time." Reeker blinked. "Humans are using their own minds as fuel?" "Yes," Lyran said quietly. "And the more desperate they become, the more memories they burn." Reeker looked at the screen again. The human soldier from earlier was still fighting, but his movements were unstable now, confused, like he didn't know where he was. Lyran whispered, "If humans keep using Spark, they will win this battle, but lose themselves." Reeker clenched his fists. A weapon that destroys its own user? No strategist would design such a thing. Yet humans didn't stop. They kept fighting, kept burning, kept forgetting. Arya's squad began moving again, running toward Captain Hayes' location. But Arya slowed down. She felt a painful pressure in her head. the sign that Spark had already taken too much from her. She opened a small notebook she carried. Inside it was a message written in her own handwriting. If you forget everything, remember this. Your name is Arya Khan. You fight to protect Earth. Her hands shook. She didn't remember writing it. Suddenly, the ground shook violently. A massive Zilani Walker robot appeared, crushing cars as it moved. It spotted Arya's squad and aimed its cannons. Her team shouted, "Arya, activate the spark. We'll die." Arya looked at them, looked at the robot, looked at the small device on her chest. If she pressed it, she would lose another piece of who she was. But if she didn't, all of them would die. Above Earth, Reeker watched the walker lock onto the humans. He folded his arms and whispered, "Press it, human. Show me how far your kind will go." Arya took a deep breath. Her thumb hovered over the button. The world slowed. Her memories flickered like dying lights. And with shaking hands, she pressed the device. A bright blue flash erupted, and everything changed. Arya Khan opened her eyes, but for a moment she didn't know where she was. The world around her moved in slow waves, like a picture melting. Dust floated in the air. A ringing sound filled her ears. Her fingers felt cold, and her mind felt empty. She stood in the middle of a destroyed street. Her squad was behind her, staring at her with wide eyes. "Arya, what did you do?" whispered one soldier. Arya looked down at the small metal device on her chest. The spark, the same weapon she swore not to use again. Now it felt heavier than ever. She didn't remember pressing it. She didn't even remember the seconds before the battle. Her heart dropped when she checked her notebook. The sentence she wrote earlier was still there. Your name is Arya Khan. But now another blank space had appeared. Her favorite childhood memory, gone, burned, used as fuel. Before she could process anything, a loud metallic crash echoed to the broken buildings. The Zilani Walker robot that had been about to kill them was lying on its side, its mechanical legs twisted like broken wires. It wasn't just destroyed, it looked like something enormous had ripped it apart. Arya felt her pulse rising. She whispered, "Did I do that?" Her squad nodded slowly. "You moved so fast we didn't even see you," one soldier said. "You were like a storm." Arya tried to recall it, but there was nothing but darkness. No memory, no image, no feeling. A part of her mind had vanished forever. Before she could respond, Captain Hayes appeared from behind a collapsed wall. His face was pale, his voice sharp. "Arya, you must come with me. Now." Arya walked toward him, still trying to understand what she had become. Hayes grabbed her arm and pulled her into an underground tunnel. The rest of the squad followed. Inside the dim tunnel, lit only by flickering emergency lights, Hayes finally spoke. "Arya, we cracked the spark. We cracked how it works." She froze. Her chest tightened. This was what she feared. Hayes took a deep breath. "It's worse than we thought." Arya swallowed. "Tell me." Hayes pointed at a hollow screen where diagrams flashed. Spark does not burn random memories. It selects the strongest memory first. Arya felt a chill crawl up her spine. "Our strongest memories are our humanity," Hayes continued. "Our first love, our parents, our proudest moment, our deepest pain. Spark burns all of that first." Arya felt her knees weaken. Her strongest memory had been burned for what? 10 minutes of speed? Strength? Survival? Hayes tapped the screen again. This is why aliens call Spark the dumbest weapon ever. It takes what no species should ever lose. Arya shook her head. But who created it? Why? Hayes sighed. The official story says humans invented Spark. But we found alien signatures in its core. Old signatures. Very old. Arya frowned. Aliens created Spark? No, Hayes whispered. Spark is older than any alien species we know. Arya felt a cold rush through her. Older? How? Before she could ask, the tunnel violently shook. Pipes burst. Walls cracked. Soldiers screamed. Something massive was drilling from above. Hayes shouted, "Zilani breach." Everyone defensive positions. Arya raised her weapon but hesitated. She didn't want to use spark again. She couldn't lose more memories. But the tunnel ceiling exploded, and a huge armored Zalani soldier jumped down, roaring. His claws glowed with plasma. His armor was thick like stone. Two more Zalani elites followed, their eyes locked directly on Arya. One of them pointed at her with a long claw. There, the human we need. Arya stepped back. Why me? She whispered. The alien hissed. Because you use spark more than the others. You are close to collapse. Hayes shouted, Run, Arya. But Arya stayed still. The alien continued. When humans collapse, spark activates a final stage. A stage that can destroy your entire species. Arya's blood froze. Final stage. The alien nodded. A full memory wipe. Every human connected to spark will lose every memory at the same time. And spark will feed on that energy. Arya felt her world tilt. That was impossible. No one told him spark was connected across all users. No one knew spark had a final stage. Hayes fired his rifle, hitting one alien. The others charged. Chaos filled the tunnel. Arya ducked, rolled, fired, shouted orders. But her mind kept replaying one line. A final stage that destroys your entire species. She grabbed Hayes' arm. We need to stop spark. Everywhere. Right now. Hayes shook his head. We don't know how. The aliens pushed forward. Their heavy steps shook the ground like thunder. Arya looked at her spark device one more time, fear gripping her heart. If she used it now, she might lose everything. If she didn't use it, they would all die. Suddenly, something unexpected happened. A blast of gold energy struck the aliens and threw them backwards. The tunnel glowed. Arya shielded her eyes. When the light faded, a tall alien figure stood there, different from the Zalani warriors. Elegant armor, calm eyes, a royal crest. He spoke softly. Arya Khan, do not use spark again. I came to help you. Arya blinked. Who are you? The alien bowed his head. My name is Prince Velar, heir of the Lemurian Empire, and I know the truth about spark because my ancestor created it. Arya felt her breath catch. The spark, the weapon destroying humanity, was created by his people. Arya stared at him, fear and hope twisting inside her. Prince Velar continued, voice trembling. And if we don't stop it soon, humanity will not just lose memories. The tunnel was still shaking from the last explosion when Prince Velar stepped forward, lowering his glowing staff. Arya stared at him, her mind racing. He was tall, graceful, and unlike any alien she had seen before. His armor shone like liquid gold under the flickering lights, and strange star-like symbols floated around him like tiny sparks. Her squad watched him with fear and confusion, weapons raised. Prince Velar raised both hands peacefully. I am not your enemy. I came because humans do not have much time left. Arya tightened her grip on her rifle. You said your ancestors created spark. Why would you make something so dangerous? Velar nodded slowly, sadness darkening his silver eyes. That is the story your species never learned, because spark was never meant to be a weapon. Arya felt a heavy coldness fill her chest. If it's not a weapon, then what is it? Velar looked at her in a way that felt old, older than galaxies. Spark, he whispered, was designed to preserve life, not destroy it. Everyone froze. Hay stepped forward angrily. Preserve life? My soldiers are losing memories every day. How is that preservation? Velar turned his gaze toward him. The memories are not destroyed. They are collected. Arya felt her breath catch. Collected where? Velar lifted his staff. A holographic sphere formed above it, shimmering, rotating slowly like a galaxy made of light. Inside it were millions of floating shards. These, Velar said softly, are memories. Arya stepped closer, without realizing it. She saw tiny images inside the shards. Faces, cities, voices, laughter, tears. Human memories. Lost memories. Her memories? She wasn't sure. Velar continued. Spark stores every memory it burns. It was created during a time when entire civilizations were dying from a cosmic threat. We used spark to preserve who we were, even when our bodies were destroyed. Arya asked quietly, so, spark was a backup system? Yes, Vila replied. A memory vault. A way to keep a species alive, even if their world ended. Hayes lowered his rifle. That means humans could recover the memories? Veeler's face went dark. Yes, but only if Spark stays stable. If Spark reaches its final stage, your species will lose all memories at once, overwhelming the system. The vault will collapse. Everything stored inside will shatter. Arya's throat tightened. And then, Veeler whispered, humanity will become an empty shell. Before Arya could respond, a loud roar echoed through the tunnel. The broken Zalani soldiers were rising again, angrier, glowing with red energy. Veeler stepped forward. They are trying to capture you, Arya Khan. They believe you are the key. Arya's heart pounded. Why me? Veeler studied her, his expression heavy. Because you have used Spark more than any other soldier. Your memories hold the largest share of stored power within the vault. If the Zalani extract it, they can trigger the collapse themselves. Arya stepped back, fear rising in her chest. I didn't ask for this. I didn't choose to be a key. Veeler shook his head. No one ever chooses to be the hinge of fate. Hayes pushed Arya behind him. What do we need to do? Veeler spoke clearly, firmly. You must reach the Spark core, the original vault beneath Antarctica. We must shut it down before it enters final stage. Arya narrowed her eyes. Beneath Antarctica? Why there? Veeler hesitated. Because humans did not find Spark. Spark found you. Arya was confused. What does that mean? Veeler looked away, almost ashamed. Spark woke up when your species reached a certain emotional frequency. Humans feel more strongly than any species we ever knew. Your memories have power, far more than other races. Spark reacts to emotion. Arya's voice shook. So Spark feeds on human feelings? Veeler nodded. That is why it chooses your strongest memories first. Because strong emotions produce the strongest energy. Arya felt her knees tremble. Her mother's voice. Her favorite song. The sound of the sea. All the things she lost. They were not random. Spark took the memories she cared about the most. Hayes clenched his fists. How much time do we have before Spark reaches final stage? Veeler closed his eyes for a moment, then opened them. Less than 3 days. Arya inhaled sharply. 3 days before humanity became an empty species. Suddenly, the Zalani elites charged again, roaring loudly. Veeler stepped forward, forming a golden shield around Arya. Plasma blasts hit the shield like heavy rain. Arya shouted, We can't fight them here. Veeler nodded. Then we run. He slammed his staff into ground. A glowing tunnel of light opened behind them. A portal. Hayes' eyes widened. Where does this lead? The last safe place on Earth, Veeler answered. The forgotten Lemurian outpost. It is the only location where Spark cannot track your mind. Arya looked at him. How do we stop Spark? Veeler extended his hand toward her. To stop Spark, you must do the thing no human can bear. Arya swallowed. What is that? Veeler stared into her eyes. You must willingly give up your last remaining core memory. The one Spark has not touched. Arya froze. Her last real memory? The last piece of who she was? Veeler stepped closer. That memory is the key to shutting Spark down. Arya whispered, voice breaking. And if I give it up, who will I be? Veeler whispered back. Someone who saved her entire species. Behind them, the Zalani broke through the rubble. Veeler shouted. Into the portal. Now! Arya stood at the edge of the glowing light, her heart trembling. She knew the moment she entered, her life would change forever. She took one final breath and jumped. Arya landed on cold stone. For a moment, everything was quiet. Too quiet. There was no fire, no explosions, no screaming. Only a soft humming sound filled the air, like distant singing trapped under the ground. She slowly opened her eyes. She was inside a vast underground hall, glowing with pale blue light. Crystals floated in the air like frozen raindrops. They shifted gently, creating a soft echo that felt almost alive. Her squad stumbled out of the portal behind her, coughing and gasping. Hayes grabbed his helmet and looked around in disbelief. Where are we? Prince Veeler stepped out last, closing the portal with a wave of his staff. The golden light vanished behind him. "We are inside the Lemurian outpost of Lost Mines," Veeler said. "Built before my species vanished. Built to hide memories and protect them." Arya felt a strange pull in her chest. Her spark device buzzed lightly, like it recognized his place. Veeler noticed. "It reacts because this is where Spark was born." Arya clenched her fists. "So Spark started here?" Veeler shook his head softly. "No, Spark was awakened here. There is a difference." Before Arya could ask more, the crystals around them shifted. They floated down slowly and hovered in front of the humans. Each crystal contained a glowing image. Arya gasped. Inside one crystal, she saw herself. A younger Arya, laughing with someone she couldn't remember. Her throat tightened. "That's me?" Veeler nodded. "Yes, a memory you burned." Arya touched the crystal and instantly pulled her hand back, shaking. She felt the faintest echo, warmth, laughter, comfort, something important, something she wished she could hold on to. Hayes looked at Veeler sharply. "Why are her memories here? You said Spark stores everything in the main vault." Veeler walked slowly around the chamber, touching the crystals gently. "Some memories are too powerful for the vault. They split. They create echoes. Those echoes appear in places like this." Arya whispered. "So parts of me are still alive in these crystals?" Veeler nodded. "Yes, but echoes can't return what Spark has taken. They can only remind you of what is at stake." Arya felt anger rise. "Then why bring us here?" Veeler turned to her. "Because the outpost contains the original design of Spark, the manual. Without it, we cannot shut Spark down." Hayes' eyes widened. "A manual? A weapon this dangerous as a manual?" Veeler exhaled. "When it was created, Spark was not a weapon. It was a sacred tool. But everything sacred can become deadly in the wrong hands." Arya stepped closer to Veeler. "Where's the manual?" Veeler pointed toward a massive stone door at the far end of the hall. Strange symbols glowed on its surface. "You must open that door. Only a human who has burned many memories can unlock it." Arya's pulse jumped. "So, me?" Veeler nodded. "You." Her squad protested. "Arya, this could kill you. You already lost so much. Don't do this." "We can find another way." Arya shook her head. "No, I started this fight. I have to finish it." She placed her hand on the glowing door. The moment her skin touched it, the stone shifted. Light spread like veins across the door. Arya felt something inside her pulling, tugging at her mind. She gasped. The door was reading her memories. All the burned ones. All the empty spaces. And then, a voice spoke inside her head. "Arya Khan, you carry the echoes of lost hearts." Arya stepped back, startled. "Did you hear that?" Nobody else reacted. Only Veeler stepped closer. "The outpost is speaking to you. It recognizes you." Arya's heart pounded. The voice returned. "You seek the source of Spark, but Spark seeks the source of you." Arya felt dizzy. "What does that mean?" Veeler closed his eyes. "It means Spark chose you, not by chance, but by memory." Hayes frowned. "Memory? Spark chose her because of memory?" Veeler nodded. "Yes, she holds a core memory powerful enough to control Spark." Arya's eyes widened. "My last real memory? The one you said Spark hadn't touched?" "Yes," Veeler whispered. "That memory is not just yours. It is a key." Arya felt her breath catch. "What memory is it?" Veeler looked away. "You must discover it yourself. The outpost will show you." The giant stone door opened slowly, releasing a chilling breeze that carried whispers. Inside the dark chamber, a massive sphere floated, made of light and shadows. It pulsed like a living heart. Arya stepped forward, drawn by an invisible force. Hayes held her arm. "Arya, wait." She looked back at him. "If Spark will destroy humanity, I need to understand why it chose me." She walked into the chamber. The sphere glowed brighter. And suddenly, the dark walls lit up, forming moving images. Her childhood, her school, her first friend, her mother's hands, her first day as a soldier, her first battle, Her first fear. Everything she lost, everything Spark took, was replaying before her. But then, one final image appeared. A memory Arya didn't recognize. A woman crying, holding a newborn baby. A glowing mark on the baby's chest. A symbol that looked exactly like the Spark device. Arya's body froze. Who is that baby? The image zoomed in, and Arya saw her own face. Her own eyes. Velar stepped behind her, whispering, "The truth begins now, Arya. Spark didn't choose you during the war. It chose you the day you were born." Arya felt the world collapse beneath her feet, and Spark began to pulse violently. Arya stood frozen as the glowing chamber filled with swirling images of her past. The huge sphere pulsed like a living heart, shining in rhythmic waves. Her squad watched from behind a doorway, too scared to enter, while Prince Velar followed her slowly with careful steps. Arya stared at the crying woman, holding the newborn baby. Holding her. "I don't remember this," she whispered, voice trembling. "Why can't I remember her face?" Velar stepped beside her. "Because Spark took that memory long ago." Arya looked at him sharply. "But Spark only burns memories when we activate it. I was a baby. I never used Spark." Velar's expression darkened. "That is because you were not the first one to use Spark." Arya blinked. "What do you mean?" Velar raised a staff. The sphere flickered and showed another scene, an old room lit by candles. Scientists in silver robes stood around a glowing cradle. A strange symbol floated above the baby. Arya watched, horrified, as one of the scientists whispered, "Her core memory is stabilizing the signal." The scientist placed a tiny spark-like crystal on the baby's chest. It glowed. Arya gasped, "That's Spark. They put Spark on me?" As a baby, Velar nodded slowly. "Your mother was part of a secret human project. They found ancient Spark technology buried in Antarctica over 200 years ago. They thought it was a power source, not a memory tool. When they tried activating it, every adult lost consciousness instantly." Arya's heart pounded. "So how did I survive?" Velar looked directly into her eyes. "You were born with a rare memory frequency, a frequency strong enough to stabilize Spark. You were the only one who didn't collapse." Arya shook her head, overwhelmed. No, that's impossible. I was just a normal child." Velar sighed. "You were never normal, Arya. Spark bonded with you the moment you were born. It locked onto your core memory, your first memory of existence, and used it as an anchor." Arya's legs trembled. "My core memory? What even is that?" Velar faced her gently. "Every human has one memory deeper than all others. A memory so powerful it defines who you become. Spark sensed yours." Arya swallowed hard. "And what is mine?" Velar didn't answer. He pointed at the glowing sphere. "The outpost will show you." The sphere suddenly dimmed. The chamber turned cold. A faint whisper echoed around them. "Arya, Arya." The name vibrated through her bones. The light inside the sphere shifted, forming a scene. A large room. A hospital? A storm outside. Footsteps rushing. A woman screaming. Machines beeping rapidly. Arya's heart raced. She recognized this place. Velar whispered, "Your birth." Arya watched her mother crying, holding the newborn baby close to her chest, whispering words Arya wished she could remember. The woman whispered, "Please remember me, even if the world forgets us." Arya felt something break inside her. Then the baby glowed. A small spark crystal pulsed on her skin. Alarms went off. Scientists panicked. "The bond is forming," one shouted. "She's absorbing memory energy." The walls cracked. Light exploded. And then, the memory ended abruptly. Arya fell to her knees, gasping. I don't remember any of that. Why did anyone tell me?" Velar knelt beside her. "Because the humans who ran the project sealed the truth. They were afraid of you, afraid of what Spark could do through you." Arya looked up with tears in her eyes. "So, I'm the reason Spark awakened? I'm the reason it's destroying memories." Velar placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "No. Spark awakened because the galaxy entered a dark age. Wars, fear, loss. Human emotions reached their peak, and Spark responded. It seeks strong emotions to stabilize itself. And your core memory, your first memory as a child, was the strongest emotional imprint Spark ever found. Arya stared at him in horror. My core memory is powering Spark? Velar nodded. And if you give up that memory, Spark will collapse. Arya shook her head violently. That memory is the last thing I have left. If I lose it, I won't even know who I truly am. Velar lowered his head. To save humanity, you must give up the memory that defines you. Arya felt her world tilting. She had lost so much. Her childhood, her friends, her feelings, her past, everything Spark had taken. And now it wanted her final memory, the last piece of her identity. Hayes called from the doorway. Arya, the Zilani are back. We need to go. Velar stood quickly. They're tracking your frequency. They know you're here. We must move. The crystals in the chamber began to shake violently. Dust fell from the ceiling. The sphere pulsed harder, as if reacting to Arya's rising fear. Velar grabbed her hand. Arya, listen to me. You are not alone. Even without memories, you are still human. You can still choose. Arya stepped back as the ground trembled. Choose what? She asked. Velar spoke firmly. You must choose whether your identity or your species is more important. Arya stared at him with broken eyes. Behind them, Zilani voices roared through the tunnels. Hayes shouted, Arya, we need to go now. The sphere suddenly burst with light, filling the chamber with intense white energy. Images, whispers, memories, voices, everything swirled around Arya like a storm. Her mother's voice echoed. Remember me? Arya covered her ears, screaming. Velar reached for her, shouting over the noise. Arya, this is the price of fate. To save your species, you must forget your beginning. Arya collapsed on the floor, trembling. As the light grew brighter and the chamber shook violently, one terrifying truth echoed in her mind. She was born with Spark, and Spark wanted its child back. The chamber trembled like a living beast as Arya lay on the cold stone floor, the swirling lights wrapping around her body like threads of fate. Every crystal in the outpost glowed dangerously, shaking as if the entire place was waking up after centuries of silence. Prince Velar shouted over the violin humming, Arya! You must stand. If the outpost keeps reacting to your core memory, it will collapse. But Arya could barely hear him. Voices echoed inside her head, dozens of them. Whispers of laughter. Screams from battles. Her childhood. Her heartbreaks. Her victories. Her losses. Everything Spark had taken was now screaming to return. Arya clutched her head. Make it stop. I can't hold all of this. Velar knelt beside her, gripping her shoulders firmly. You are connected to Spark directly. When your emotions break, Spark breaks too. You must control it. Arya shook violently. How can I control something that's inside me? Velar responded softly. Because Spark chose you for a reason. Before Arya could speak, the massive stone doors behind them exploded inward. The Zilani elite stormed in, their armor glowing red, weapons raised. Their leader growled, The human key must be taken. The collapse must begin. Hayes and Arya's squad rushed forward, opening fire. Plasma bolts lit the chamber in bright flashes. The crystals trembled even more, falling from the ceiling like glowing shards. Arya crawled backward, her vision spinning. Spark's pull grew stronger. Her memories kept flashing, faster, louder. Velar created a golden barrier to protect her, shouting, Hayes! Hold them back. Arya must reach the core. Hayes yelled over the chaos. Where's the core? Velar pointed to a staircase that appeared as the chamber shifted. It reveals itself only to the Spark bonded. Arya forced herself to stand, legs trembling. The core called to her. She could feel it, like a heartbeat buried deep in the ground. She ran toward the staircase, stumbling as the ground shook. Velar guided her with his staff, shielding her from falling crystals. Behind them, Hayes tackled a Zilani warrior, shouting, Go, Arya! Save the world! Arya sprinted upward, every step heavier than the last. She reached a narrow hall glowing with white light. The air felt thick, pulling at her memories like invisible threads. Veeler followed quickly, breathing hard. Arya, listen carefully. The core will not let you in unless you decide. You must choose before you touch it. Arya slowed, chest burning. Choose what? Veeler's eyes went soft with sorrow. Choose to give up your last remaining memory, your core memory. Arya stopped. The hall became silent. The hum of the outpost paused as though it was holding its breath. Arya whispered, if I give it up, I won't know who I ever was. I won't remember her voice. I won't remember my beginning. Veeler nodded. Yes, Spark will extract it. It will be gone forever, and you will wake up empty. Arya closed her eyes. Images flashed again. Her mother's face, blurred but still filled with love. Her mother's voice echoed faintly. Remember me? Arya opened her eyes, tears falling. What kind of warrior fights without knowing who they are? Veeler stepped closer. Sometimes the greatest warriors are the ones who fight for those who will remember them, even if they cannot remember themselves. Arya took a trembling breath, and then the core room opened. A massive sphere floated in the center, bright white, blindingly pure, alive. It pulsed with rhythm. It pulsed like her heart. The core spoke in a voice that felt ancient. Arya Khan, bring your beginning to me. Arya felt her legs weaken. She stepped forward. Veeler did not stop her. Just remember this, Arya, he whispered. You are more than your memories. Arya raised her hand, but before she touched the core, the ceiling above shattered. Zalani warriors fell in, roaring. Hayes' squad was losing the battle below. Veeler shielded Arya from falling debris, shouting, We are out of time. Arya's spark device pulsed violently. The core pulsed in reply. Two lights answered each other, mother and child. Arya took one step closer. A Zalani warrior lunged at her from behind. Before he struck her, Arya's spark activated on its own. A massive surge of light exploded from her chest, throwing everyone, Veeler, the Zalani, even the crystals, across the room. Arya floated in the air. Her eyes glowed white. Her memories blasted through the chamber like a storm. Veeler stared in shock. She's entering the final link. The core brightened as if welcoming Arya home. Arya whispered, voice echoing, Take it. Take my last memories, save them. Veeler reached toward her, terrified. Arya, once you give it up, there is no turning back. Arya looked down at him, a peaceful sadness in her eyes. This was never about me. It was about all of us. Her hand touched the core. The chamber erupted in blinding white. A howl of memories filled the air. And then the outpost went silent. Everything turned white. Arya's final memory left her body like a falling star. She collapsed into Veeler's arms. Her eyes empty, her mind quiet, and Spark's heartbeat faded into silence. Silence. A deep, heavy, almost cosmic silence filled the chamber. For a long moment, no one moved. The white light faded slowly, like the last breath of a dying star. Crystals stopped shaking. The outpost grew still. Even the Zalani warriors froze, staring with fear and disbelief. Prince Veeler held Arya's unconscious body carefully in his arms. Her eyes were open, but empty. No spark, no question, no fear, no recognition. Just silence. Hayes stumbled into the core chamber, covered in dust and plasma burns. He froze when he saw Arya. Oh, God, Arya, he whispered. He rushed forward, falling to his knees beside her. Arya, Arya, look at me. It's me, Hayes. Arya blinked slowly. Her eyes moved, but without purpose, without identity. Who are you? She whispered in a flat, hollow voice. Hayes felt his heart break. Veeler spoke softly. She has given her core memory. Spark is disabled. Humanity is safe. Hayes grabbed Veeler's armor, shaking with anger. But she doesn't even know who she is anymore. Veeler lowered his gaze. She traded her life story for your future. The Zalani elites, seeing the core dark and Spark silent, understood the war was lost. Their leader bowed his head, defeated. Slowly, silently, they retreated out of the chamber, leaving the humans alone. The war ended with a whisper, not a final blow. Arya still lay silent, unable to understand the chaos around her. Veeler gently touched her shoulder. Arya, can you hear me? She turned her head toward him. Yes, but I don't know who Arya is. Her voice broke something inside everyone. White medium star of the world finally breathes. The outpost floor lit up, sending a soft wave of golden light across the chamber. Veeler watched it with deep relief. It is done. Spark is fully shut down. Humanity can never activate again. You are all free. Hayes wiped his eyes. But she lost everything. Veeler shook his head. No. She lost her memories, but not her humanity. She can learn again. She can build again. She can love again. A person without a past is not empty. They are a space waiting to be filled. Arya looked around slowly, confused. What is love? What is humanity? What is memory? Veeler smiled sadly. That is what you will learn. Arya touched her chest where spark once pulsed. There was nothing there. No glowing light. No buzzing pain. No energy pulling at her mind. Just silence. She whispered, I feel light, empty, but peaceful. Why? Veeler stood tall. Because your burden is gone. Spark was never meant to be carried by a single human. Yet you carried it since birth, and you carried it bravely. Arya blinked. Birth? I don't remember being born. I don't remember anything. Hayes took her hand gently. That's okay. You don't have to remember. We will help you. Arya looked at their hands touching, then at his face. You know me? Hayes nodded firmly. You saved me many times. And now I'll save you. I promise. For the first time, a faint smile touched Arya's lips. White medium star the return to the surface. The outpost opened a new path. A glowing staircase rose from the ground, leading upward toward the world outside. Veeler walked beside Arya as the group climbed. When they reached the surface, sunlight spilled across Arya's face. She touched it curiously. It is warm, she whispered. Is this the sun? Hayes nodded. Yes, and it rises every day, just like you will. The war had ended. Zalani's ships were retreating. Human survivors emerged from bunkers. For the first time in years, the sky looked clear. Arya breathed deeply. This world, it feels new. Veeler smiled softly. It feels new because you are new. Arya turned to him. Are you leaving? Veeler nodded slowly. My mission is complete. Spark is gone. My people can finally rest. Arya stepped forward hesitantly. Will I see you again? Veeler placed his hand over his heart, a Lemurian gesture of deep respect. You will not remember me, but I will always remember you. Arya stared at him quietly, understanding something even without memories. Thank you for helping me. Veeler bowed deeply. No, thank you, Arya Khan. You ended a war by giving up the thing every species fears losing, its beginning. A golden portal opened behind him. Wind stirred. Veeler stepped into the light, and he was gone. White medium star the girl who saved humanity. Hayes and her squad surrounded Arya as she looked out across the quiet, healing world. People were hugging. Children were running. Robots were deactivating their weapons. Humanity was beginning again. Arya touched her notebook. The one she had written in before Spark took her memories. She opened it. There was only one line written inside. Your name is Arya Khan. You fight to protect Earth. Arya whispered the word softly. Arya Khan, that is me? Hayes smiled. Yes, that's you. Arya looked at the horizon. The sky glowed bright and endless. What do I do now? She asked gently. Hayes placed a hand on her shoulder. You start again. Arya took a breath. A new beginning without a past. Yes, Hayes said, smiling at the sunrise. And sometimes that's the strongest beginning of all. Arya closed her eyes, letting the warm wind touch her face. She didn't remember who she was, but she knew one thing. Humanity lived because she sacrificed her beginning, and somewhere deep inside her empty memory, a quiet whisper remained, a voice she couldn't name. I'm proud of you. Arya smiled. A new life had started.